Hello and welcome back to Norrin Reads. Today I will be reviewing Silver Surfer number 5 from the 1987 series. This issue was written by Steve Englehart, penciled and colored by Marshall Rogers, and inked by Joe Rubinstein. This issue is titled Obliteration, and the Obliterator has caught up with the Mantis and the Surfer, and they are currently battling in space. There is no sound in space for even the most powerful detonation, but sentience no ways to make their voices heard. So the Surfer and Mantis have been trying to escape the Obliterator ever since they escaped Ego, the living planet, having learned of the Elder's plan to destroy Galactus, and he just keeps catching up with them and attacking them. While the Surfer and the Obliterator are fighting in space, Mantis can't really do anything, she just has to float and watch. While they're battling, the Obliterator fires at her, and this obviously irritates the Surfer, so the Surfer flies his surfboard into the chest of the Obliterator, and he says, "I strike to protect life, Elder. All life, or just hers, Norrin Radd? Norrin Radd is gone. Gone with the woman he did care for. You deal with something far beyond a mortal man, Obliterator." So the Silver Surfer has really taken on this idea that he is no longer Norrin Radd. It reflects what he did in issue number 2, where he changed the plaque where it said, "Here was born Norrin Radd, a son of Zen-La," and he altered it with the power cosmic to say, "Here was born the Silver Surfer, a son of Zen-La." So obviously that split from his identity is continuing and worsening. The Surfer is able to escape the planet he has smashed the Obliterator into. The Surfer returns to Mantis as she's floating in space, and she tells the Surfer that she has not been able to have a time of tranquility because they've been constantly pursued by the Obliterator. And as a plant woman, she needs that in order to commune with the plants of the galaxy and the universe so that she can keep tabs on what the Elder's plans are. During this conversation, the Surfer points out the irony that, had the Elders not come and attacked him on Earth, he wouldn't really be involved in this whole scheme, and he wouldn't be trying to stop Galactus from being destroyed. He says, "When Galactus freed me from my prison on Earth, we were finished with each other for all time. But when beings as powerful as Galactus and the Elders make battle, all other life must be adversely affected. Everything else pales in significance." Meanwhile, back on Tarakar, which is the name of the Skrull planet that the Celestial is on, the Skrull leader of this planet, known as Krylor, he is attempting to communicate with this Celestial. He goes into a history of the Celestials and how they are known to go to planets and experiment on the life on these planets, and they did this on Earth, and they created 3 species: the gene-transforming deviants, the gene-protecting Eternals, and the gene-oblivious latents. And he says once the shape-shifting deviants matured into 2 strains, those you see before you, which is the Skrull, and the exorable dire wraiths. We conquered and destroyed the Eternals and latents, and then we drove the wraiths away and carved out an empire to make our name feared across the cosmos. So the Skrulls have previously gathered intelligence on the Celestials. They know the name of this Celestial. He is Jemiah the Analyzer. Krylor, he speaks to Jemiah and he tries to convince him that they are a race worth saving. He speaks about their achievements. While he's speaking to the Celestial, and of course the Celestial is not responding, he's just there watching, Krylor gets agitated that he's not getting a response. He screams, "As we arranged then, attack." He flies away from the Celestial, and a bombardment of missiles and bombs fly toward the Celestial, and this huge mushroom cloud envelops the sky, and when it dissipates, the Celestial is there unharmed. After the bombs prove ineffective, Krylor laments, "Events are collapsing in on us. If only the Kree haven't learned the loss of our power." Now we move over to the Kree, and they are preparing a spy to infiltrate a Skrull world to truly discover whether or not they have lost their shape-changing ability. Surfer and Mantis arrive on a world that is full of plant life, and this is perfect for Mantis. This is where she can thrive. Surfer addresses the fact that Mantis kissed him, and she explains that this one likes Surfer. Mantis likes Surfer. He talks about how Shalabal only kissed him once while he was trapped on Earth, another time once he returned to Zen-La, and then another when she said that all his years of waiting for her were in vain. He talks about the time he was with Galactus, how he flew through space and it consumed him. He says that to master the void, he became the void, and he sort of lost all emotion. But when he came to Earth, Alicia Masters, she brought that back to life in him, and that's why he betrayed Galactus and helped the Fantastic Four stop him from destroying Earth. Mantis empathizes with the way Surfer feels. This is part of her ability. But he tells her, "Mantis, you empathize, but you do not understand. Norrin Radd does not exist. Whatever the mind of the man within may feel, the form without is silver, not flesh. I am the Silver Surfer, and no matter what I long for, no matter who I am with, the Surfer is always alone. Mantis responds, You say that. You say that because you have loved but one woman and been denied her. It does not follow that no other exists for you. Clearly the Surfer is really struggling with this identity again, and his emotions and his obvious attraction for Mantis are really causing conflict for him. Their conversation is cut short as the Obliterator arrives and begins attacking them again. Fortunately, Mantis is of more help on this planet because it is a planet full of plant life, so she can use the plants to attack the Obliterator, and she is not floating in space, so she can use her martial arts. They battle for a while. The Obliterator tries to use heat-seeking darts on her, but they don't work because she can be as cool as a plant. Her body temperature can be as cool as a plant, so a lot of his weapons don't work on her. Finally, he sprays her with this gas, which he describes as a defoliant, and he blasts his Obliterator beam into this gaseous cloud where she is, and Mantis is obliterated. Meanwhile, the Kree agent is being dropped off on a Skrull world. He descends to the ground. He puts on facial prosthetics to make himself look like a Skrull. He hitches a ride with another Skrull to the capital. He learns that there is a Celestial at the capital. When they arrive at the city, an alarm goes off and it appears that the Kree agent is electrocuted, and an alarm sounds, attention, biobeam indicates non-Skrullian life form, and he is confused. He's never heard of this technology that the Skrulls possess. The Skrull authorities arrive quickly and they tell the Kree, the Emperor needs you to tell him just how much your accursed commander knows. I'll tell you nothing, Skrull slime. I am specially trained to resist your tortures. No, you'll find that we not only need your information, but we need it quickly. The Emperor is nervous. We all feel squeezed, and he pulls some sort of beam weapon out of his belt, and he puts it in front of the Kree agent's face. You'll talk. Meanwhile, the Surfer is enraged. He says, you killed Mantis, and he attacks the Obliterator, and they begin to reignite their fight. The Surfer fights valiantly as always, but he is overpowered. He has a thought while he's laying, blasted into the ground by the Obliterator. All elders possess more power than I. I cannot overpower him. There must be some way to defeat a man who cannot die. Wait, what if? Then he envelops the Obliterator in his power cosmic, and the Obliterator realizes that his weapons are only firing harmless light. The Surfer explains that he has the power to restructure their molecules, and the Obliterator is now trapped on this planet and he is helpless. He is no longer the Obliterator. And as we've discussed previously with the Eternals, they need something to strive for to keep them going, to keep them alive. So now that the Obliterator cannot obliterate, which is his main purpose for surviving, he must die. But I cannot die. I cannot die. The Grand Master beat death, and none of us elders can die now. But to live on and on with failure, endless empty eons. Death indeed would be kinder for you now. But you are not the only one who has lost something vital today. And a voice responds, and what might that be, Norrin? And Mantis is revealed to be alive. She says that she transferred her life to the plant life just as her body was destroyed and she formed a new body. The pair embrace, and the Surfer says, I thought I'd lost you. You and she have too much yet to accomplish together, and this obliterated man will help us. So the Obliterator, since he cannot die and he is no longer the Obliterator, he blames the Grand Master for not being able to die and being caught in this horrible situation. So he agrees to betray the Grand Master and tell Surfer and Mantis their plans. We jump back to Tarakar, the Skrull world, and there's an announcement as a Skrull armada flies into space. This is your Emperor speaking. The Kree prisoner has provided firm intelligence that the Kree plan to attack us. With the Celestials return to judge us, we must show what Skrulls are made of. Let the second Kree-Skrull War begin. This was an interesting issue, had a lot more action than previous issues with the Obliterator and the Surfer fights, also the Mantis fights with the Obliterator. I really enjoyed the Kree subterfuge of them sending an agent to the Skrull world. I am excited to see the Celestials kind of motivating the story. The Skrulls are afraid of what's going to happen, so it's kind of pushing them towards war in an interesting way. Also, this identity crisis with the Surfer is really interesting, with this split between his Norrin Radd identity and his Silver Surfer identity, and sort of partitioning himself away from his emotions, but it seems that Mantis is sort of breaking down that wall, and I hope that it works because, as I said in the previous review, I really want to see the Surfer happy. I think he deserves it after what he's been through. I want to thank you again for joining me for this series, and we'll see you out there on the Cosmic Spaceways.